Falklands threat. Good afternoon, I hope everyone's well today, thank you for watching. Trump is gesturing to Malay down in Argentina about the Falkland Islands, and I wanted to go over this a little bit. Apparently there was a leaked memo or a leaked message internally at the Pentagon saying that America may need to review Britain's claim to the Falkland Islands. I don't pay much heed to this because I don't think anything is leaked. I really don't. I think it's all about diplomatic relations, and I think this is nothing more than a signal from the American presidency. Now, there's a lot of pearl clutchers in the United Kingdom that are saying, well, you can't trust Trump, look what he's doing. Me personally, I think it does a few things. It exposes the hypocrisy between two-tier Kia and his willingness to try to cede British sovereign territory, British Indian Ocean territory, to a country that didn't have any historic claim to it, the Maldives, and it exposes the hypocrisy. That's what it does, and I think that's what it is about, in all honesty. How can you want to voluntarily give the Chagos Islands back to Mauritius? I say back, they never had it. But you don't want to do the same with the Falkland Islands to Argentina. That's what it is. It's about showing Keir Starmer for the lying charlatan, and that's all it's about. We're getting into a bit of the information here. This is Robbie of X. The US could review Britain's claim to the Falklands as Trump seeks revenge over NATO's lack of support in the Iran war. Robbie says Trump can review all he wants, the Falklands are British. That's a history lesson. Britain first claimed the Falklands in 1765. Argentina was founded in 1816. So we settled the Falklands before Argentina was even a thing. Now Malay, who I do quite like, cards on the table, I do quite like Malay, has fallen in line with Trump's rhetoric, and he's turned around and says, Argentina's President Malay says the Falkland Islands are illegally occupied by the UK. The Malvina Islands, South Georgia, South Sandwich Islands and surrounding maritime spaces illegally occupied by the United Kingdom since 1833. So there we go. Now, as I say, I don't think anything's going to happen. First of all, Argentina is not really in a state to launch an offensive on British sovereign territory. But things have also changed since the Falkland War of the early 80s. We have a permanent garrison on the Falkland Islands, and it's reinforced with about 1,500 troops, and that's on a rotation. There is also contingencies to put more troops there as and when needed, and there's also a missile defence system for the Falkland Islands as well. So we're not going to make the same mistakes that we made previously. However, it remains on the table whether we'd make new mistakes. I don't think Starmer would send any reinforcements down to the Falklands if Argentina, backed by the United States, ever did move there and actually set up an offensive there. I don't think America will do that. This is all about aligning with allies and trolling Starmer, in my view. But I don't actually think Starmer would do anything about it. Now, as I say, there was a referendum there in 2013, and the people that live there did overwhelmingly vote to remain British. Let's have a look here. So we'll look at 99% voted to remain British. In fact, the Falklanders could teach the indigenous British population a thing or two about patriotism, in my view. I would gladly swap out a few thousand pro-Gaza British people from the mainland and ship them to the Falklands and maybe do an exchange with the Falklanders and bring them over to the mainland. That's something I would gladly sign up to. You let me know, do you think I'm calling this right? Do you think Trump's just basically exposing the hypocrisy of the British state and the British government over wanting to cede certain territories but not others? The parallels are striking between the Falklands and the Chagos. The only difference is we've never forced the Falkland Islanders to resettle to Britain to use it as a permanent military base for the United States. That's the only difference that I can see. Comment below, do you think that Trump is just being a blowhard? I do in this particular case. Like and subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and let me know, would you want the Falklanders to come over to Britain and maybe switch out a few thousand of our pro-Gaza, pro-Palestine pallywankers and send them over to the Falklands? Just a thought. Maybe send all the dinghy divers, that are coming over from France, maybe send them over to the Falklands. There's a lot of land down there that's not occupied. That's another thought. Anyway, I appreciate your time. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.